Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chap. 36 Sec. 3 of Jane Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Oh.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Brontë. Chap. 36 Sec. 3. My blood resumed to flow. Fully assured by these words that it drove me Mr. Rochester, God bless him, wherever he was at least alive. What? In short, the present gentleman, gladdening words, tranquility, since he was not in the grave, I could bear. I thought, to learn that he was at the antipodes. Is Mr. Rochester living at Thornfield Hall now? I asked. Mind. Of course. What the answer would be, but yet desirous of deferring the direct question as to where he really was. The Maismo. No one is living there. I suppose you are a stranger in these parts. Or you would have heard what happened last autumn. Thornfield Hall is quite a ruin. It was burnt down just about harvest time. A dreadful calamity. Such an immense quantity of valuable property destroyed. Hardly any of the furniture could be saved. The fire broke out at dead of night, and before the engines arrived from Mulcote, the building was one mass of flame. It was a terrible spectacle. At dead of night, I muttered. Yes, that was a very hour of fatality at Thornfield. Was it known how it originated? I demanded. They guessed. They guessed. Indeed, I should say it was ascertained beyond a doubt. You are not perhaps aware, he continued, edging his chair a little nearer the table, and speaking low, that there was a laddie, a lunatic. She was kept in very close confinement. People even for some years was not absolutely certain of her existence. No one saw her. They only knew by rumour that such a person was at the hall, and who or what she was it was difficult to conjecture. They said Mr. Edward had brought her from abroad, and some believed she had been his mistress. I feared not to him my own story. I endeavoured to recall him to the main fact. This lady, ma'am, he answered, turned out to be Mr. Rochester's wife. The discovery was brought about in the strangest way. There was a young lady, a governess at the hall. That Mr. But the fire, I suggested. I'm coming to that. My cat, Mr. Edward fell in love with. The servants say they never saw anybody so much in love as he was. He was after her continually. They used to watch him servants well. You know, amazement he sets store on her past everything. For all, nobody but him thought her so very handsome. She was a little small thing, they say, almost like a child. I never saw her myself, but I verily, the housemaid, tell of her. Lee liked her well enough. Mr. Rochester was about 40, and this governess not 20. And you see, when gentlemen of his age fall in love with girls, they are often like as if they were bewitched. Well, you shall tell me this part of the story another time, I said. But now I have a particular reason for wishing to hear all about the fire. Was it suspected that this lunatic, mice, Rochester, you've hit it. It's quite certain that it was her, and nobody but her. That set it going. She had a woman to take care of her cold mice in her line, and very trustworthy, a deal of them nurses the matrons capta. Private bottle of gin by her, and now and then took a drop over a match. It is excusable, she had a hard life of it. But still it was dangerous when my spool was fast asleep after. The gin and water lady, who was as cunning as a witch, of her pocket let herself out of her chamber at the house, doing any wild mischief that came into her head. She had nearly burnt her husband in his bed once about that. However, on this night hangings of the room next to her own lower story was like as if she knew somehow how matters had gone on a spite. At her end she kindled the bed there in it, fortunately. The governess had run away 2 months before for almost a thing he had in the world. He never could hear a word of her, and he grew savage, quite savage on his disappointment, man, but he got dangerous after he lost her. He would be alone, too. He sent Miss Fairfax, the housekeeper, friends at a distance, but he did it handsomely, annuity on her for life, and she deserved it. Was a very good woman, Miss Adela. Word he had was fit to school, broke off acquaintance with all the gentry. What? Leave England? Bless you. Thou. He would not cross the door stones of the house, night orchard, as if he had lost his senses, which it is my opinion he had before. A more spirited boulder of a governess crossed him here. Never saw a man given to wine or cards, or racing as some are, and he was not so. Very handsome, a will of his own, ever a man had. A boy, you see, and for my part then. Mr. Yes, indeed was he, burning above and below them. Down himself fell, and then they called out to him that she was on the roof, where she was standing, waving her arms above the battlements, shouting out till they could hear her a mile off. Heard her with my own eyes. She was a big woman. Long black hair, we could see it streaming against the flames as she stood. I witnessed, and several more witnessed, Mr. Skylight onto the roof her, and then, ma'am, she yelled and gave a spring dead. Aye, you may well say so, ma'am, he shuddered. I urged, well, ma'am, afterwards the house was burnt to the ground per Mr. Edward, he ejaculated. I little thought ever to have seen it. Secret, and wanting to take another wife while he had one living. I pity him. You said he was alive? I exclaimed. Yes. Yes, he is alive. Why, how? My blood was again running cold. Is he? I demanded. He's in England. He can't get out of England. What agony was this? And that man seemed resolved to protract it. Is stone blind, he said at last. Yes. He is stone blind, is Mr. I had it worse. I had dreaded he was mad. Strength to us, what had caused this calamity? It was all his own courage, and nobody may say. His kindness, in a way, ma'am, he wouldn't leave the house till every one else was out before him. He came down the great staircase at last, after my surcel from the battlements, There was a crash who fell out from under the ruins alive, but sadly hurt, fallen in such a way as to protect him. Partly knocked up, on one hand so crushed that Mr. Carter, the surgeon, had to amputate directly. The other eye inflamed, sight of that also. He is now helpless. Where is he? Ferned in a manor house on a farm he has. About 30 miles off old John and his wife. He would have none else. Broken down, we have a chaise, ma'am. To be continued.